Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. It is Friday the 22nd of August. Welcome to the weekend. It's finally here. We've got high pressure moving in this weekend, which means colder nights, but for some areas, some beautiful afternoons. Let's have a look at the satellite map at the moment. We've got a little bit of cloud around still today, around the eastern side of the country, and also coming through Cook Strait. Sunny skies in a number of western areas, though, with this setup. And as the high rolls on in, some of the showers around the eastern side of the North Island should finally start to clear away. But as you can see, most of the energy is out around Australia, a number of systems over there. But for now, we're protected by this big bubble of high pressure. Literally a bubble of high pressure right smack bang over the top of us. So there is still a light southerly flow, or some areas it's a little bit brisk and breezy, coming in more of a southeasterly for the North Island, which is why Waikato, parts of Taranaki, up towards Auckland and the western side of Northland, more likely to be sunny as we go through the day, along with the west coast and inland parts of the South Island. So the high is moving in, the winds are going to fade out for many places, that southerly flow should start to ease, and the stormy stuff for now is mostly south of New Zealand. So frosts do come in this weekend, but they are going to melt slowly as we go through the next few days, because once the high moves out to the Pacific Ocean, out to our eastern side, that will drag in some warmer air. But frosty weather pretty widespread through inland parts of the South Island on Saturday morning, and also some light frost going right up into the Waikato region. On Sunday, you'll notice they're shrinking a little bit from where they were on Saturday, and we jump to Monday and those frosts get even smaller. So they're still around, obviously, but not as big, not as heavy as we get to the start of next week. So let's break that down. We've got high pressure moving out to the east of the country by Saturday. Still got that pool of cold air, and that's higher up in the atmosphere. So you've got these showers around. Now, when you've got cold air above it, that can help those clouds actually become a little bigger. We'll be watching that closely to see if we get any big downpours that pop up this weekend. Otherwise, just a few showers coming in with an easterly flow for northern areas, and you might even start to feel more of a northerly breeze returning to Cook Strait, Wellington area as we go into Saturday. In the very southern part of the country, there's a slight westerly flow that is starting to arrive. I say slight because it is basically just brushing Fiordland, Foveaux Strait, Stewart Island. Sunday, not a great deal of change. That east to northeast wind is there with a few showers, and like I say, with that pool of colder air still around, just keep an eye on some of those showers coming in around Bay of Plenty. They could be a little bit heavy as we go through the day, but it's still mostly dry around the country. So a clearance in the east for most areas, except north of sort of Gisborne northwards, you might still have a couple of showers in the mix, despite the fact the wind has changed from being more of a southerly to more of an east to northeasterly. So let's go into next week. Now, the cold weather we've had for quite a while now finally starts to push off by the time we kick off next week. And as the high moves eastwards, just north of the Chatham Islands, that easterly and northeasterly flow starts to drop down further over northern New Zealand. So again, a few showers around, nothing much to really talk about, but you never know, there could be briefly heavy as that nor'easter kicks in, and that will lift up your temperatures overnight at that very top part of the North Island. Other areas, not a great deal of change, still seeing those frosts around, but in many regions, it should still be a beautiful sunny day on the way. As will Tuesday in many places. High pressure hasn't really moved much, still centered just north of the Chatham Islands. But look at the cold airflow. That's been pushed away from us. So now you've got subtropical winds at the very top of the country. You've got easterly winds dropping further down. You've got a bit of a northerly flow through Cook Strait. And in the very south, you'll start to feel a light nor'wester. It's not very much, but just a bit of a breeze. That will help lift up temperatures by a degree or two. And by Wednesday, that breeze just goes up another notch. So again, the overnight temperatures go up another degree or two, and so do the daytime maximums in most places. Although the maximum temperatures may not lift up very much at the top of the North Island, the top half of the North Island. Why is that? There's more cloud. So you've got cloudy weather coming in from that low around the northern Tasman Sea, that's connecting up with the tropics. So mild airflows coming down, but then the cloud cover also limits how warm it gets during the daytime hours. But you should feel the overnight temperatures lifting up by the middle of next week. Northwesterly winds picking up through Cook Strait, westerlies at the bottom of the country, northeasterlies and northerlies at the top. All right, let's go to the end of next week, because here's the big change that is coming. So an enormous area of high pressure dominates our weather this weekend and today as well. That is that same high on Thursday next week. This is all low pressure south of Australia and building up. So they've got a wintry blast coming in around southern parts of Australia on Thursday. For us, that northern low doesn't turn out to be very much because this bigger system is taking some of the energy away from it. So that wet weather slides past the North Island, but really the main course is the change to westerlies. So let's go to Friday's map. That's a lot of low pressure. So this is what we get at this time of the year. Spring, I always get this comment, so much for spring. Spring is really winter slowly fading and summer slowly coming in. We really have two seasons in a year. We've got winter and summer. The other bits in between, spring and autumn, are about those seasons fading out, those winter and summer fading out, or the other one coming in. So as we go into spring, don't imagine a flick of the switch and everything changes. It means that you've got more hints of warm days, but you can still get winter weather right through spring. Even into November, you can get snowstorms. So we're watching this closely. There's a massive wintry feed coming into Australia, but not for us. We've got the windy, spring-like westerlies kicking in for the country. Showers coming in from the west and potentially damaging gales here on Friday, or maybe even starting as early as Thursday. So it's a long way out still, but it's worth monitoring because that is a lot of low pressure on the map here moving through. High pressure to the north of us that encourages westerly winds to blow through, not so much wintry stuff. So that's why we'll be watching what happens next week. Are we going into spring already or not? We'll be talking about that one next week because every year it changes, every year. Some years we get spring weather arriving as early as July. This year, not so much. And so we'll be having to wait till Monday to have a better look as to what happens after all that low pressure. Here is the 7-day rainfall. So you see those showers at the moment with the southerlies, then the nor'easters come in with some showers over the weekend and into next week. And we have to wait till the very end of next week. That's when that westerly comes in and that should change things. So not an overly wet week ahead. Many of you will notice August has been drier than average. Thank goodness. If you live in Nelson, you'll be happy with that. In Tasman, after the very, very wet start to winter, now we're getting a good balancing act, drying things out, and areas that have been drier now have some wet weather, and areas that have been wetter have some dry weather. So it's all kind of balancing out as we go through the next 7 days. So yeah, expect some changeable forecasts as we go into September. Really big high pressure zones still in the mix. Still some really big winter low pressure zones in there too. And so that's going to bring us variety, and that's what spring is all about. Thanks for joining me. Have yourselves a great weekend. I'll see you again on Monday.